Hello, Connor O'Brien is my name. I'm going to ask a question about elevation and public space. In the New York model, I guess we see traditionally public space as being on the ground plane and everything private being extruded upwards in that way. But from what we can see with Diana's project in Seoul and the success of the High Line and other projects, is there a potential for more elevated public space on rooftops, and has this potential to change building typology?
You're doing it.
Well, of course, I'm incredibly interested in that. What is happening, though, it is surprising, is that now apartment houses are all sort of wanting to do, roofs which are sort of for the building. I mean, it's not, but you could also request in the building that you could hold, that space for a party if you ask early enough. And so I don't know how public that is, if it is for the whole building, but at least it's a step in the right direction. And that is happening a lot in New York, that they are reserving sort of spaces, open spaces at the top, and making them semi-public, let's call it. Have you noticed, Emily, anything that has happened in that realm?
I mean, one of the biggest challenges with public space is, safety, enforcement, things like that. And so, traditionally, public space has really been successful when it's on the ground, where everyone is, where all the action is, and so that you have the eyes on the street, all of the, Holly White, Young Gal observations, and that it's not segregated from everything else. So I think it's a big challenge, and it would actually require a kind of systemic typology change of the buildings and everything else to, again, create that environment where people can feel safe in a public space at all times of the day.
Well, I would just distinguish between elevated. I mean, elevated can work. I mean, obviously the High Line works. We can talk about who it works for, but it works. As opposed to elevated in private buildings. I am not sanguine at all about public space in private buildings. The farther away you get from the door, the more private it becomes. So let's be real about this. But so it's interesting. There have been proposals about just converting lobbies, private lobbies, into public space. I think the record worldwide on interior, legally required public spaces has been more of a record of privatization as you get further and further away.